All right, peanut butter puffs is what we're making today. I'm going to show you how to do it. This is one of the simplest recipes we'll do all year. However, it's also one of the most difficult recipes we'll do all year. How can it be simple and difficult? Well, it's simple because there's 4 ingredients and 5 steps. Simple. Difficult because if you don't do each step exactly right, they'll be ruined. You can still eat them, but they won't be award-winning cookies like they should be. So it's very important that you follow directions carefully, which is why I'm demonstrating such a simple recipe. You might look at it and say, we got it. You can tell from the directions. But because the steps are so important that they're done correctly, I want to demonstrate it. As we progress throughout the year, I'm not going to demonstrate everything we cook. Obviously, I did with brown sugar cookies, but other upcoming recipes, there won't always be a demonstration. So sometimes there's a demonstration, sometimes there's not. But because this is difficult, I'm going to demonstrate. We're going to start off with 2 egg whites. Now we're going to make something called a meringue. Meringue is when we beat up egg whites to a semi-solid form, and usually there's sugar in meringue, and that's what we're going to make. It's pretty simple, again, if you follow a couple of things exactly. First of all, there can be no fat in your meringue. The egg whites won't hold the air if there's fat in there. So one of the things that we have to make sure of is our mixing bowl must be completely clean and free of fat or grease of any kind. So if it's greasy, my egg whites will be ruined before I start. Which is why they used to say, and they probably still do somewhere, don't use a plastic bowl to make a meringue. Because chemically, plastic is very similar to fat. And because they're similar, they have an affinity for each other and they like to stick together. I don't know if you guys, growing up, I always had one bowl or one container in my mom's house that was Tupperware. It was like sticky, and no matter how many times you washed it, you couldn't get that stickiness away. That was because there was grease stuck to it and it wouldn't come out. So that's why they say don't use plastic bowls for meringue. I have done it in the past, and I amazed somebody. They were like, how did you do that in a plastic bowl? I don't know, I was lucky, I guess. But for the most part, you want to use a glass bowl or metal bowl, and our mixing bowls are metal, so that's not really that much of an issue. So I need 2 egg whites in here. Now, this little device right here is an egg separator. There's one in your kitchen. I put them there this morning. They're color-coded, so you know, make sure you get the right one. It's better if you use 2 people, one to hold it and one to drop the egg into it. I don't have 2 people, so I'm going to rest it on my measuring cup, which if you're at home alone, you can do it that way. However, it's real easy to fall in. So if you, what's that?
You crack an egg with one?
Not very well. I have trouble with 2 hands. So anyway, since you got teammates here, have someone hold it. So you're going to crack your egg and drop it in the egg separator. Now, dear. Okay. These things happen, and so I'm going to redo that one, but I need another container. I'll just use this measuring cup here. So I'm going to just, since my egg yolk is still in one piece, I did that on purpose. Oh, almost had it. All right, let's do it this way. All right, now I'm going to put my egg whites in the mixing bowl to start with, because if I break this puppy, all right, we're gonna call that good. I want you to put your egg yolks in a Ziploc bag, because we're gonna use those at a later time this year on a different recipe. So I have these snack size Ziploc bags. Put your egg yolk in there. And we'll use that later. Now, it's very tempting, if your first egg is successful, to crack your second egg on top of it. But I don't want you to do that. Why?
Because it might do the same thing it did the first time.
Right, if the second egg is a disaster and your first egg was perfect, you gotta start all over. So that's why I put my egg whites in here, so I at least have one good egg separated there. And when I get here, if I mess this up, I'm only messing up one egg.
Yeah, that one worked.
Oh. Ah, shit.
You know what it is? These eggs been out all day, so I think it's because they're getting warm.
You're smart. You said it was warm too, didn't you?
All right, so I'll get refrigerated eggs for next period. So your eggs are gonna go in a Ziploc bag. We're gonna freeze that for later on. All right. And into that, we're gonna put a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Do me a favor. And when you measure your salt, please get it from here. There's always some wisecracker who goes to your kitchen and unscrews the lid off your salt shaker and pours the salt out of there. Don't do that. It takes my TAs too long to fill up the salt shakers. So get it out of this thing right here. You're using a whisk attachment. I put them in your kitchens. You can see them sitting on your tables. Don't use the white blade attachment. It won't work for making a meringue. Okay, you're gonna need to switch to the other side because it's gonna get noisy. All right, so we put this on high until we get to something called soft peaks. Okay, meringue or egg whites, we beat them to different stages. There's one stage called foamy, which is foamy, right? There's soft peaks, right? Okay. Soft peaks is when I pull the whisk attachment out of the meringue, it's gonna follow the whisk attachment up, and the meringue is going to make a mountain peak, but it's going to curl over or it's going to sink in on itself. That's soft peaks. Stiff peaks is when it forms a mountain peak, the meringue does, and it supports its own weight. So the more I beat it, the stiffer it's going to get, and so that's what we're headed for. So, right, it's going to